Hello everyone, how are you? Today about Prophet Muhammad, birth and childhood, born in 570 CE in Makkah, year of the elephant, belonged to the Quraysh tribe, Hashamite clan. Father, Abdullah died before his birth. Mother, Amina bint Wahb. Grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, who named him Muhammad. Another name, Ahmad, born as an orphan, sent to the desert for nursing by Halima al-Sa'diya, experienced the opening of the chest incident in childhood. Known for purity and protection from sins since childhood. Cared for by Abdul Muttalib until his death. Later raised by his uncle Abu Talib. Never engaged in idol worship. Loved and respected the Kaaba as the house of Allah. Famous for honesty and trustworthiness even as a boy. Preferred solitude over useless play. Suffered poverty but maintained dignity. Gained wisdom from observing society's corruption. Allah protected him from immoral practices. Youth and pre-prophethood character earned the titles Al-Amin, the trustworthy, also called Az-Sadiq, the truthful, known for integrity in trade and business. Quraysh trusted him with their valuables. Chosen to settle a dispute about the black stone in Kaaba. Married Khadija Ra at age 25. Khadija Ra was a wealthy and noble woman. Their marriage was harmonious and full of respect. Always helped the poor, orphans, and needy. Abstained from drinking, gambling, and immorality. Used to meditate in the cave of Hira. Disliked injustice and oppression. Rejected idol worship and polytheism. Maintained patience, humility, and gentleness. Always spoke the truth. Maintained good relations with neighbors. Conducted fair and transparent trade. Never swore falsely. Loved cleanliness and purity. Humble and modest in lifestyle. Known for generosity and kindness. Extremely merciful toward orphans. Never desired worldly wealth. Honored manual labor and hard work. Never arrogant despite his noble lineage. Trusted as a mediator in disputes. Avoided quarrels and violence. Always stood for justice. Helped the oppressed and weak. Earned the admiration of Quraysh for noble character. Received first revelation at age 40 in the cave of Hira. Angel Gabriel delivered the first verses of Surah Al-Alaq. The first word revealed Iqra, read, initially felt fear and returned to Khadija Ra. Khadija Ra comforted him and supported his mission. Araka ibn Nafel confirmed his prophethood. Khadija Ra was the first Muslim. Ali ibn Abi Talib, Zayd ibn Halib, Zayd ibn Haritha, Abu Bakr Ra, secretly preached Islam for 3 years. Slowly gained a small group of believers. Later commanded to preach publicly. Quraysh leaders strongly opposed him. Muslims faced persecution and torture. Some companions migrated to Abyssinia. The Prophet remained steadfast with patience. Faced insults and humiliation in Makkah. Went to Taif, but was rejected and attacked. Allah blessed him with Isra and Miraj night journey. People of Medina accepted Islam after a Kaaba pledge. A Quraysh plotted to assassinate him. Commanded by Allah to migrate to Madinah. Ali Ra slept in his bed during the migration. Hid in the cave of Thor during the journey. Migration Hijra marked the beginning of Islamic calendar. reached Medina safely, welcomed by the Ansar, established the first Islamic state in Medina, built Masjid al-Nabawi, established Brotherhood Mu'ah between Muhajirin and Ansar, drafted the Constitution of Madinah with Muslims, Jews, and others, instituted zakat and charity system, organized community prayers, promoted justice and fairness in governance, emphasized equality of all believers, changed Qibla from Jerusalem to Kaaba, first major battle, Badr 624 CE, Muslims achieved victory. Battle of Uhud 625 CE, Muslims faced setback. Battle of Khandak 627 CE, defended Madinah with trench strategy. Treaty of Hudaybiyah 628 CE, a peace agreement with Quraysh, conquest of Khyber 629 CE. Letters sent to kings inviting them to Islam, conquest of Makkah 630 CE. Demonstrated great mercy by forgiving Quraysh, Battle of Hunain 630 CE. Expedition to Tabuk 631 CE. Delivered farewell sermon during Hajj 632 CE. Prohibited racism and declared all Muslims equal. Advocated for women's rights and dignity. Encouraged freeing slaves. Established strong governance with justice. Completed his mission of delivering Islam as final guidance. Prophet Muhammad, governance, justice and state building, appointed just judges to settle disputes. Prohibited bribery and corruption. Ensured fair distribution of wealth through zakot. Set rules for trade with honesty and transparency. Protected the rights of non-Muslims in Madinah. Jews and Christians were allowed to practice their religion. War captives were treated kindly and often freed. Introduced system of taxation based on fairness. Instituted shura consultation. In decision-making, Kokul sent governors to different regions with clear instructions. Emphasized justice even against oneself or relatives. Declared, the strongest among you is the one who controls his anger. Prohibited killing of women, children, and innocents in war. Protected the environment and animal rights. Encouraged planting trees as a form of charity. Established clear inheritance laws. Instituted laws of marriage and family rights. Condemned tribalism and racial superiority. Established Friday Jumu'ah as a day of gathering. Prohibited alcohol and intoxicants. Prohibited usury, riba. Encouraged writing and preservation of knowledge. Ordered compilation of the Quran in his lifetime through memorization. Provided guidelines for military ethics. Established equal justice for rich and poor. Declared that leaders must serve their people, not exploit them. Sent letters to Byzantium, Persia, and other empires. Invited rulers to Islam with wisdom and courtesy. Always kept his promises and treaties. Instituted laws for charity, welfare, and social justice. Extremely humble, despite being a prophet and leader. Repaired his own shoes and clothes. Helped his wives with household chores. Ate simple food and never wasted. Sat on the ground with his companions. Never demanded luxury. Spoke gently and never raised his voice unnecessarily. Smiled often and spread positivity. Forgave even his enemies. Known as mercy to the worlds. Rahmatan lil Alamin. Loved children and played with them. respected the elderly, showed compassion to animals, fed the hungry, clothed the poor, never retaliated for personal insults, encouraged kindness even to servants and slaves, practiced patience in all difficulties, balanced worship, family, and community life, never showed arrogance or pride, often spent nights in prayer and tears, practiced gratitude in every situation, maintained cleanliness and personal hygiene, used miswak toothstick regularly, loved fragrance and disliked foul smell, always kept promises, generous to the point of never refusing a request, never cursed or used foul language, preferred silence over useless talk, encouraged others with wisdom and kindness, showed the best example of good manners akhlaq, married Khadija Ra first. She was his only wife until her death, loved Khadija Ra deeply and remained loyal to her memory. Later married multiple wives for social and political reasons, treated all wives with fairness and respect, engaged in conversations and shared laughter with them, showed affection publicly without shame, spent time teaching his wives about Islam. Fatima Ra was his beloved daughter, showed immense love for Hassan and Hussein Ra, kissed his grandchildren openly, showing compassion, supported his son-in-law Ali Ra, cared for his foster children and servants, adopted Zayd ibn Haritha, and treated him like a son, encouraged kindness between spouses, stressed that the best of you is the best to his family, did not allow domestic violence, encouraged consultation in family matters, showed affection through service and kindness, kept family bonds strong, taught that paradise lies under mother's feet, spiritual life and worship, led prayers regularly and emphasized congregational salah, spent long nights in Qiyam night prayer, fasted voluntarily outside of Ramadan, practiced dhikr remembrance of Allah constantly, observed simplicity in worship without extravagance, taught supplications for every action in daily life, emphasized sincerity ikhlas in worship, stressed importance of intention niyyah, demonstrated humility in due supplication, wept often out of fear and love of Allah, made istighfar seeking forgiveness regularly, relied completely on Allah in every matter, taught moderation in worship, avoiding extremes, loved the Quran and recited beautifully, emphasized learning and teaching the Quran, showed the balance between dunya world and akhirah, hereafter, taught that good character is part of faith, taught that prayer is the coolness of his eyes, practiced gratitude shukr in ease and patience sabr in hardship. Prophet Muhammad, social reforms and teachings abolished female infanticide, burying daughters alive, gave women inheritance rights, gave women the right to choose marriage, made education compulsory for both men and women, protected orphans with special laws, encouraged kindness toward neighbors, ordered respect for parents, encouraged helping relatives and maintaining family ties, forbade oppression of the weak, abolished slavery gradually, encouraging manumission, declared that all humans are equal before Allah, stressed that superiority is only in piety, forbade racism and tribal arrogance, established brotherhood between Arabs and non-Arabs, gave rights to servants and workers, forbade torture and cruelty, protected rights of minorities, encouraged fair treatment of animals, stated that feeding the hungry is an act of worship, commanded honesty in business, condemned false oaths, promoted simplicity in lifestyle, ordered cleanliness of body, home, and streets, made seeking knowledge a duty, said that scholars are heirs of prophets, encouraged caring for travelers and guests, declared every Muslim is a brother to another Muslim, said, "None of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself." Declared Friday a weekly day of gathering and sermon, forbade wastefulness in food and water. Battles and campaigns. Battle of Badr 624 CE, first decisive victory. Battle of Uhud 625 CE, Muslims tested with loss. Battle of Kondak 627 CE, trench strategy brought victory. Treaty of Hudaybiyah 628 CE, peace pact with Quraysh. Conquest of Khabar 629 CE, sent letters to world leaders after Hudaybiyah. Conquest of Makkah 630 CE, peaceful, forgiving enemies. Battle of Hanan 630 CE, siege of Taif 630 CE, expedition of Tabuk 631 CE, defended Madinah from internal and external threats. Establish rules of war ethics. No killing civilians. Commanded mercy toward captives. Emphasized spreading Islam through daya, not force. Used diplomacy more than fighting. Honored treaties even with non-Muslims. Gained respect of tribes through fairness. Balanced between defense and peace. Allowed Jews of Madinah to live under their own law, sent missionaries to distant lands with knowledge, not armies, forbade destruction of crops and homes in war, encouraged protection of religious places, taught that war is only for defense, not aggression, ordered soldiers to treat enemies humanely, sent envoys of peace before any battle, forgave Quraysh leaders after conquest of Makkah, raised standard of military discipline, forbade treachery and betrayal, encouraged soldiers to uphold prayer and ethics, never fought for personal revenge. Companions and leadership, trained companions in knowledge and leadership. Abu Bakr, close friend and first caliph. Umar ibn al-Khattab known for justice. Uthman ibn Affan generous and soft-hearted. Ali ibn Abi Talib brave and knowledgeable. Encouraged shura consultation with companions. Showed trust in young companions with responsibility. Sent Mud ibn Jabal to Yemen as teacher. Sent Mozab ibn Amer to Madinah before Hijrah. Loved Bilal ibn Rabah and freed him from slavery. Chose leaders based on piety, not wealth. Always respected advice of companions. Shared in hardships of the army. Ate and lived like ordinary people. Called companions my brothers. Loved the Ansar of Medina. Encouraged unity among Muhajirin and Ansar. Trained companions to spread Islam after him. Always acknowledged the sacrifices of his followers. Blessed companions with dua prayer. Final sermon and last days performed Hajj in 632 CE, called farewell pilgrimage. Delivered farewell sermon on Mount Arafat. Declared the sanctity of life, property, and honor. Stated that all blood feuds of Jahiliyyah were abolished. Declared interest, riba, forbidden. Reiterated equality of all races and tribes. Emphasized kindness to women. Stated that Quran and Sunnah are final guidance. Asked Muslims to convey his message to others. Declared that his mission was complete. Received revelation. Today I have perfected your religion. ... Quran 5:2-3. Returned to Medina after Hajj. Fell ill with high fever. Continued leading prayers until 2 weeks. Appointed Abu Bakr to lead prayers. Gave final advice, prayer, and your responsibilities. Passed away on 12 Rabi Lawal, 630 to CE. Buried in Aisha's chamber, now part of Masjid al-Nabawi. Companions grieved deeply at his passing. Left behind Quran and Sunnah as eternal guidance. Prophet Muhammad, legacy of his teachings, taught that Islam is a complete way of life. Emphasized that the Quran is final revelation. Declared himself the last prophet. Stressed obedience to Allah and his messenger. Left Sunnah as explanation of Quran. Urged Muslims to hold firmly to Quran and Sunnah. Warned against innovations in religion. Courage spreading Islam with wisdom. Taught DYA through good character. Declared that the best among Muslims are those with best manners. Left an example of simplicity for leaders. Proved that religion and politics can be justly united. Promoted balance between dunya and akhirah. Taught that intention, niyya, defines deeds. Courage striving for excellence, ihsan. Taught Muslims to avoid extremes. Established that no clergy exists in Islam. Gave a system of law, ethics, and governance. Stressed brotherhood of humanity. Taught mercy even to enemies. Set example of patience under hardship. Stressed that justice stands above tribal ties. Left behind a community bound by faith. Inspired the rapid spread of Islam after his death. Declared that Muslims are one body. Encouraged mutual cooperation in goodness. Taught moderation in spending. Emphasized cleanliness as part of faith. Urged honesty as foundation of society. Declared education as the key to progress. His influence on civilization unified the Arabian Peninsula under Islam. Replaced tribal law with divine law. Laid foundation for Islamic civilization. Established rule of law based on Quran. Inspired development of sciences in later centuries. Encouraged literacy among his followers. Built first Islamic institutions in Medina. Spread concept of social welfare. Elevated status of women in society. Promoted justice across classes. Set principles for international relations. Created balance between rights and duties. Inspired system of charitable endowments. WAQF. His followers became global leaders in knowledge. Islam spread to 3 continents within 100 years of his death. Laid moral foundations for governance. Eliminated blood feuds among tribes. Established peace in Arabian society. Set example of religious tolerance. Laid principles of economic fairness. encouraged development of medicine and learning, inspired architecture like mosques, gave world model of ethical leadership, left teachings preserved in authentic hadiths, influenced millions through Quran recitation, established global calendar, Hijri calendar, gave humanity concept of equality before God, laid foundation for later Islamic empires. His message continues to spread worldwide, regarded as greatest reformer in human history. His relationship with Allah, called servant of Allah Abdullah, declared that he is only a messenger, not divine. Loved Allah above all. Spent nights crying in prayer. Asked forgiveness despite being sinless. Taught that guidance is only from Allah. Showed complete trust tawakkul in Allah, declared that paradise is by Allah's mercy. Taught sincerity in every act. Made constant remembrance of Allah, relied on Allah in battles and peace. Praised Allah in every situation. His final words included, "O Allah, the highest companion." He lived as a perfect servant, not a king. His life was dedicated to worship and service, declared that all prophets served same God, rejected worship of himself, stressed that all success comes from Allah. His humility before Allah was unmatched. His legacy is spiritual as well as worldly. Final impact and eternal message, left behind Quran as unchanged book, left Sunnah as guide for daily life. Inspired billions of followers throughout history. Declared Islam a universal religion for all nations. Set example of perfect leadership. His life is studied as the best biography. Gave the world principles of human rights. Brought light after age of ignorance, Jahiliyyah. His teachings shaped laws across continents. Remains the most influential person in history. Millions send peace and blessings upon him daily. His name is most mentioned name on earth. His character is the standard of morality. His mission continues through Muslim Ummah. His message will last until the end of time. His intercession will benefit believers on Judgment Day. His example guides all aspects of life. He is the final prophet sent to humanity. He is Rahmatul lil Alamin, mercy to the worlds. His life proves that Islam is a religion of peace, justice, and mercy. Thanks for watching.